Fox 17 Morning News at 7 starts right now.
The Resource Center here in Wyoming is set to reopen in about 2 hours. I'm Annie Satowski live in Wyoming, and I'll tell you how they can help you coming up. Now entering our second day after the tornadoes struck, we're seeing more of the damage left behind and learning more about just how powerful those storms were.
Yeah, still completing the surveys, but the strength of the tornadoes is we at least have a general idea. We'll share that with you just coming up.
When teen stress goes up, so do their tempers. That can mean clashes with mom and dad. Experts weighing in on how parents can fight fair.
Interesting advice to come. All right, it is 6:58, almost 7 o'clock. I'm Nicole DiDonato in for Mike Avery.
I'm Deanna Falzo, and of course we are live and local for the next couple of hours on this Monday morning. Rob Westby with traffic, Gary Frank with weather. Been busy this weekend.
Quiet now.
Quiet now. A change of temperature. This is my kind of weather.
It's pretty good, and it's a good start to Monday, and we're going to see most of the week like this. But we were talking about what's going on with the tornadoes, obviously, on Saturday. Still finishing the survey as the National Weather Service, and they'll go out and they'll assess the damage, and they'll look at how strong the winds were based on that. And so far, what we have seen is that either the preliminary survey or the only official survey that they've done, which is the Montcalm County tornado, was 90 miles per hour, and then also we have some EF0 tornadoes as well. Looking outside, it's fairly clear right now, and we'll see just some visibility is under a half a mile now in Coldwater and just under a mile in Three Rivers. There's some fog outside, but temperatures are very chilly. 51, we may drop down another degree, closer to 50 here, but it's going to get to 77 the rest of today. Now, in a few minutes, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about what occurred this weekend as far as some of the path of the tornado, as well as we're going to bring you the good news the rest of the week. It's fairly clear, but we have a sandwich chance for rain in between. A really nice week ahead. We'll talk about that in about 10 minutes.
All right, thank you, Gary. Well, it was the biggest story of the weekend. Tornadoes touching down in West Michigan, leaving quite a bit of damage that neighbors are still cleaning up.
In a couple of hours in Wyoming, the Red Cross is planning to reopen one of its resource centers to help local families. Annie Satowski is there live with more on what you need to know for the day ahead. Good morning, Annie.
Good morning to you, Deanna and Nicole. Yeah, the Resource Center here is set to open up in about 2 hours. That is 9 o'clock. We are at Gladiola Elementary School here in Wyoming. Now, families can come down here to get pretty much anything they need today, from disaster relief kits to even tarps to help out with the cleanup effort. If you're not familiar with the area, it's located on 3500 Gladiola Avenue Southwest. Sunday, though, volunteers worked with families, kind of taking down their information to get them connected with the services that they need. You can get anything from cleaning supplies to those tarps, as I mentioned. And if your home is damaged, the Red Cross will then send a team out to look at your home, and then they can provide financial help up to 48 hours. A shelter is also set up with meals at Godfrey Lee High School. That location is open at 24 hours.
There's more accidents post disaster than there are during the disaster. This one fortunately had no injuries and no deaths. They're mostly concerned about their food going bad in their refrigerators, but generally they're just concerned about when the power is coming on and what do they do next.
Now, we're actually told the Red Cross ran out of those disaster relief kits this weekend, but do not worry, they have more for you this morning. Like I said, you can also have some cleaning supplies, tarps to kind of help out with your yard if that's all you need. All you need to do is bring your driver's license down here today. And also, it's worth mentioning that there will be Spanish-speaking people on site here who also speak English to kind of help translate and help you along with that process. Live in Wyoming this morning, Annie Satowski, Fox 17 News.
Okay, Annie, thank you. Well, Consumers Energy has been working around the clock to restore power that was knocked out due to those storms. This is a look at the outage map from Saturday when thousands of homes were left in the dark. You can even see a clear path of where that storm hit. Now, here's a look at the current outage numbers. It's a drastic change from how things looked over the weekend. There are now a little more than 250 people left without power in Kent County. Consumers had the bulk of power restored by midnight.
Well, as many residents wait for power to be restored, a local church says it is keeping its doors open today. Eighth Reformed Church in Wyoming once again offering a free meal and power for those people who want to maybe charge their phones. A small crowd took advantage of the gesture yesterday. The pastor says they want to be there to help the community. All this as folks try to help one another clean up their neighborhoods.
We said, let's open up our building. If folks want to charge their phones, use our internet, we have some hot dogs on. Just a way for us to show hospitality to our neighbors.
Oh, absolutely. There's much worse things going on in the world. This is just a minor little natural disaster that has really brought the community together.
Well, if you're one of the many struggling with the aftermath of the storm, there are plenty of resources out there to help. You can find a list on our website at fox17online.com.
Did you see that little girl helping with cleanup? Great.
Big effort.
Well, here's a look at some of the damage left behind in Ionia County from a confirmed EF1 tornado with winds going at 90 miles an hour. Gary talked about that a little bit ago.
Well, lots of damage also reported in Allegan County. This is a look at Fenville, where dozens of trees came down on 118th Avenue, some of them landing on cars and destroying homes in that area.
And cleanup and recovery continues in Bangor this morning, one of the hardest hit areas over the weekend. The mayor is now requesting emergency aid from Lansing. He says the city's resources are just overwhelmed. Some of the areas that took a direct hit include school buildings and the newly renovated police department.
Ripped the roof off, tore up drywall insulation inside. Even at our school system, we have like a maintenance building, ripped off part of the roof there. One thing is looking at the roof, doesn't look as bad because it's gone, part of it. It's just the inside, all the insulation, and it just rips the drywall and everything else out. There's a lot of people here potentially may not have homeowners insurance. What can they do to help out the people here? This is a low-income community. Also the city, the amount of money it's going to take to clean up all these trees, repair signs, just repair the city.
Everyone in the community has been coming together, as often happens, as you see during times like this. The mayor says that roads that were covered in trees on Saturday were cleaned up in just a few hours. And we've got continuing coverage for you throughout the morning. Coming up in our second half hour, we're getting a look at the Ironwood Golf Course in Byron Center, which was heavily damaged. Gary will also have your forecast throughout the morning. And of course, you can find a lot more tornado coverage at fox17online.com and on our app for your Android and Apple devices.
Fox 17 traffic slow going about halfway between West River Drive on southbound 131 to I-96 and the lane closure that we're mentioning consistently every morning. No trouble with the lane closure going northbound at the same location. Eastbound 196 is already backed up to 44th Street for the lane closure at Chicago Drive in Granville. And we also have lane closures, remember, northbound 131 from Leonard Street up to Ann Street. Crash over on Grand Haven has southbound 31 approaching the bridge across the Grand River, about a half-mile delay when it comes to getting past that crash. You can see we don't get slowed down on southbound 131 until you get close to I-96. I'm Rob Westerby, Fox 17 Traffic.
All right, thank you, Rob. Well, in your other headlines this morning, a well-known local bartender has passed away after he was hit by a pickup truck while riding his bike. Yesterday, friends and families celebrated the life of Dave Dragalis. They gathered at Z's, where he stood behind the bar for more than 20 years. He was riding his bike in Cedar Springs earlier this month when he was hit. Well, those who knew him say that he will not be forgotten.
It didn't matter who the person was that walked in. He would connect with you in his own level, and you would know that when you left.
There's a GoFundMe page to help with funeral costs, and Z's will also be holding a special event for Dave on September 7th at 6 p.m. All that information is at fox17online.com. Meanwhile, a 60-year-old man is dead following a surfing trip on Lake Michigan. This happened around 1:30 yesterday afternoon north of Pigeon Lake. Police say the man was body surfing when he started to struggle in the water. He was with his brother, who tried to help but just couldn't. Police say there were high waves and a strong rip current. Crews found his body a short time later.
A local nonprofit is celebrating its 50th anniversary with a block party in downtown Grand Rapids, and you're invited. Goodwill of Greater Grand Rapids is partnering with Garage Bar and Grill for a garage sale from 6 to 10 tonight. There will be a silent auction with about 50 things to bid on, including bikes, brewery tours, and furniture. There will also be a free buffet and live music, and you can either donate 5 items to get in or pay the $5 admission. Goodwill was founded in 1966 and offers employment and training programs to help people having trouble landing a job. Well, from the terrible twos all the way to teenage angst, sometimes kids can be downright hard to handle.
Now you're listening up closely to this story pretty
Yes.
soon. Experts suggest turning those disagreements, though, into teachable moments. Our Erica Francis live in studio now with how you can fight fair with your kids. Good morning, Erica.
Right, and good morning, Nicole and Deanna. Well, teens have their hormones, developing brains, and now the added stress of heading back to school. And as students get ready to hit the books, be prepared, parents. That stress might shorten your teenager's fuse.
It's very common among teenagers to have conflicts with their parents.
Pediatric psychologist Brittany Barber Garcia says it's happening in homes across the state. Friction in families triggered when teens try and figure out who they are as individuals, away from mom and dad.
As they figure that out, they try to push more boundaries and figure out how far can I go versus how far are my parents going to let me go.
Know your boundaries heading into a clash. Remember to compromise, remain calm, and fight fair.
It is really important to stop talking and to listen. Listen to what they have to say. Your teenager is always going to want to get their point across. They're going to want to know that you are hearing what they say.
Reflect back and use phrases like,
"So what you're saying is this," or "I'm hearing you say you're really upset about this."
avoid name calling or accusations. Keep in mind, actions speak louder than words.
If as a parent you could model, if you do something wrong, how do you apologize for it? Or if I haven't done something wrong, how do I stick to my guns and go after what's important?
Don't let your kids' tone or words get under your skin. Know it's all right to walk away.
It is okay if you're feeling yourself really escalate and getting really worked up to say, you know what, I'm not at the point where I can have this discussion right now. I will circle back with you and we'll finish this conversation, but we're going to take about an hour's break.
Learning to argue well with others.
This is a skill that they're going to need later on in life.
Now, Barbara Garcia says it's good to model when it's appropriate to apologize, but you don't need to apologize for having a fight. One last piece of advice. When it comes to sarcasm, don't use it, at least when arguing with your kids. I'm live in studio this morning. Erica Francis, Fox 17 News.
Some good information to keep in mind.
Yeah, sounds like it.
I know, yeah. The best is yet to come, right?
You're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Always sounds good. All right, it is 7:09. We'll be right back.